Yo. Welcome back to another episode of hdsportspod podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Hewitt. I'm here with my guys, Smooth and Chubbs. This episode, we'll be talking about the pretenders and the contenders in the NFL this season. Tom Brady undefeated since his divorce. Dak Prescott stink. The wow ending to the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings game. And Jeff Saturday getting his first one as a head coach. All right, folks, before we go ahead and get started, first things first, let's go ahead and go over some few housekeeping things. Very relax. Make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms at House of Sports Pod. That is where we're at. You can find us on any platform except for Twitter, which is hdsportspod. And appreciate everybody that's been listening each and every week, man. Giving us more views by the weeks and downloading the episode more and more. So actually last week we had our most downloaded episode. So on the audio platform. So appreciate y'all, man. Before we go ahead and get started, Smooth, Chubb, you got anything I want to say to the people?
Not NFL related, no NFL pod, but big W for the Wiz kids against the Memphis Grizzlies last night. So, KP had 29, and there's not one star. Everybody's playing team basketball. You love to see it. The dead Denny, I'm not going to say the nickname I gave him, but you know what I mean? Yeah, bro, that team's looking nice. But that's all I'll say.
Yeah, you smiling way too much as we talking about the Wizards right now.
Hey, they're playing good basketball. I haven't seen that in a while.
I just want to say, prayers out to the UVA football team, their community. Tragic event that happened not too long ago, earlier in the day. Those 3 students who were killed. They got the shooter in custody, but you never want to hear something like that, especially in this young generation. So prayers out to that community, prayers out to the football team, the families involved. Just wanted to shout them out.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Definitely tragic event that happened. And prayers to the 3 lives that were lost. And I think 2 more are in critical condition. So hopefully they're able to get out of that and have a speedy recovery. Sad to see, man. Sad to see. So that's definitely a tragic event. I feel like it's not being talked about enough throughout the sports media, but that is something crazy that happened. So prayers to the entire UVA university and the football program and the athletic program and all the families involved. So prayers to them. All right, man. Well, that was sad.
Yeah, man.
Let's get to the pretenders or contenders. So I'm gonna give you guys about 10 teams. I want you guys to tell me, are they pretenders or the contenders? Then we can argue it afterwards. So first team, Minnesota Vikings.
They're a contender.
Pretenders.
I knew it was coming. Philadelphia Eagles.
Contenders.
Contenders.
Dallas Cowboys.
Pretenders.
Contenders.
So the first, I didn't say I had the contenders, or I didn't say mine. So contenders are for me, Eagles and the Vikings. Cowboys, pretenders. Buffalo Bills.
Pretenders.
Contenders.
I had them as contenders as well. Ravens.
Contenders.
Contenders.
Contenders as well. Kansas City Chiefs.
Contenders.
Contenders.
I got them as contenders as well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Pretenders.
Contenders by default.
I got them as pretenders. New York Football Giants.
I got them as contenders.
Contenders.
Pretenders. Miami Dolphins.
Contender.
Pretenders.
Contenders. And then the last team, the New York Jets.
Oh. See, you can't call them a pretender because no one was expecting them to be this good, but they thought they would be competitive. So if they make playoffs, contenders.
Pretenders.
I'm as pretenders as well. Sorry, last team, the 49ers.
Just because they're in the NFC, I'm going to say contenders.
Yeah, contenders.
I got them as pretenders. Don't trust Jimmy G. All right, man. DL, why do you have who's the team you say were pretenders? Minnesota Vikings as pretenders?
I think they're gonna do all of this in the regular season and then not do too much in the playoffs, if anything. Kirk Cousins is a mediocre quarterback. But with that being said, he does have Justin Jefferson, who is worked himself up. I know I had him as top 5 overall. I think he's worked himself up to be a top 3 receiver in the league. But I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. The NFC, I just think they're on a hot streak right now. 7-1, 8-1, very good record. But again, I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. He's mediocre. He's just doing what he can with that offense. Honestly, don't think they even play too many tough games either. Besides this past Bills game. But I don't know. They can prove me wrong. I'm just not. I don't think many teams are scared of them, especially when it comes playoff time. I don't think they're going to do too much.
So this is why I disagree. That defense is going to be the reason they're going to be contending for a potential Super Bowl or NFC championship. That's Darius Smith. I know I talk a lot of shit on him because of how he handled himself this offseason, but that boy gets the quarterback. They also got Daniel Hunter, who's on the other side, who gets to the quarterback. Pat Pete is playing great football for his age. Harrison Smith always is a bucket, even at his age. Eric Kendricks is holding the middle down. That defense overall is going to carry them in the NFC. We're talking about the NFC. Not the AFC is a gauntlet, regardless who makes playoffs. The NFC, there's Eagles. I said Giants are contenders. That's the reason why I have Giants as a contender. There's not a definitive NFC team except for the Eagles right now that we can really say. And the Vikings. That's the top 2. So by default, that should be a contender if they're a top 2 team in the NFC.
Besides the Dolphins, give me one significant win that the Vikings have this year.
But here's my thing. But here's my thing, and I'm going to get to that. But I want you. I
can't give the Dolphins a significant.
I want to give me an answer, DL. You're talking about Kirk Cousins being a factor. Yes or no? Do great defenses carry quarterbacks in playoffs? Can they?
Great defenses give up 30 points. I should call great.
Bro, they are 8-1.
22 again. Name me a team.
They're 8-1. Who cares? They're contender. They're in the NFC.
Right, well,
we're talking about the NFC.
If you're saying that the Saints is a significant win, the Bears are a significant win, the Lions are a significant win, then okay.
Based off what I've seen in my team's history, we went to a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco and Trent Dilfer. And you say Kirk Cousins can't get to a Super Bowl?
I don't think the defenses are as elite as your defenses were.
Bro, they gave up 24 points.
The defense is a very good defense.
26 points to the Cardinals.
And we're talking about in the NFC. The only other team that's really showing that they're anything is Eagles.
Beat the Commanders by 3 points.
They only gave up 17. Why you ain't say how many points they gave up, bro?
They only beat them by 3 points. We're talking about the Commanders.
We're talking about a top 2 NFC team.
25 points to the Saints.
I think they're contenders, but I do agree with they have a super light schedule. Them beating the Bills to me was impressive. That's the only reason. If they didn't just beat the Bills, I would still have them in the pretenders list. But I think they need to. I do agree. I don't trust Kirk Cousins like that. So him throwing, I don't care if you have Justin Jefferson, him throwing a ball 35 plus times a game is just not going to be healthy. We have, in my opinion, a top 5 running back in Dalvin Cook, who pretty much was one of the reasons outside of Justin Jefferson why you won this game. you need to utilize him more. Dalvin Cook should be getting at least 20 carries a game. I know he's also getting a lot of touches in the passing game because he's a good receiving back as well. But I think they just need to utilize their run game some more. They got Mattinson, who's a good backup, but they also got TJ Hawkinson, who's this was the second game with them, and I think as they go on, it will be good. I mean, the rest of their schedule, they play the Cowboys next, so that will really tell us something. They play the Patriots, the Jets, Lions. I don't count that. Colts, I don't count that. But if they could beat the Cowboys, Jets, Giants, and then beat the Packers again, then I feel really strongly about them going into the playoffs.
So, I know. I agree. I think they'll get a top seed because of what the record is now, and the games that they got left. But I just feel like when they come up against a team in the playoffs, it's not going to be clear cut like how it is now. They're gonna figure out Kirk Cousins. They're gonna figure out Justin Jefferson. Find a way to slow him down. I'm not gonna say you're gonna stop him, but you're gonna have to figure out a way to slow him down. And Kirk Cousins literally threw the ball 50 times this past weekend. And again, that's not healthy. But again, they did, and we'll get into that topic later. They did play, Bills defense who were, missing a lot of DBs, which is why, I can see why they took advantage of that.
Right.
So, yeah.
I am starting to hate people saying that they've had those DBs since week 1 playing. Tre'Davious hasn't. Okay, but then I'm saying, let's not sit here and act like these guys only been playing for like a couple of weeks.
I'm not.
So let's get to it. Chubbs, why do you have the Bills as pretenders?
I just think they whoop up on the teams they should whoop up on, like the easy teams. But anytime they get in a big time game, Josh Allen, for me, as of late, hasn't been playing up to his MVP caliber, like people have been saying he is. Right?
Is that recency bias though? Because he had a great game versus the Chiefs.
He had a great game last game.
But I'm saying, it's not recency bias because I know they beat the Ravens, but he did not play great against the Ravens. What I'm saying is good teams can jump on him and then they cannot come back and win the game. And maybe the only team I've seen him actually have that type of game with is the Bills. I mean the Chiefs. As long as if he's playing Patrick Mahomes, okay, cool, yeah, he gonna keep in the game. But
the Chiefs have some sorry DBs, so that's why it's easy for them.
But I'm saying, like, you're seeing these good teams stop them.
Stop them?
Yes, stop them.
They had 20. Well, how many points they had at halftime?
27.
And they didn't score again.
But you also got, you're right.
And I got to give. But that's the only reason why I'm saying they're pretenders. By default, yes, they have a good team. They're going to go to playoffs. But when they get to these big time games, I don't see this team going to the Super Bowl. I don't. So I can't call them a contender because I don't see them doing that. Especially what teams did moves. Like everybody kind of got better at the deadline. With the top teams at least. So I don't know. It's going to be, and they didn't do nothing.
They're still trying to get OBJ.
That whole conversation earlier. How can you win a game in a crunch time, big time defense when you're playing the good teams and giving up all them yards? The good teams. Of course.
I'm gonna try not to get mad. When we talk about this.
Yeah, he took a deep breath.
I really am because
I gotta see who the Bills played.
And please, when I try to elaborate and explain this concept, please do not cut me off because I was getting very, very frustrated in the group chat. Dalvin Cook is a top whatever running back in the league. We can all agree to that. We all said, I think the argument was Wayne, I think it all started when Wayne said, I'm a Cook because of the Bills' rushing defense. And my response was, other than that 81-yard scamper that he had, I think the Bills' rushing defense played pretty well. If you take away that 81-yard scamper, from Dalvin Cook, he had about 40-something yards. He went for 119. Wayne emphasized that he was running all over them in the overtime. And I said that only happened because by that time, Justin Jefferson was already cooking, so they were not focusing on the rushing game. Even with those yards that he was putting up in overtime, they still didn't score offensive touchdown. Before then, me and Chris was talking about it. He had three rushes in which he had negative yardage, and another 3 I calculated in which he had 0 to 1 yards on the rush. That's 6, and he carried the ball 14 times for 119, if I'm not mistaken. So 6 of those carries. Go ahead, man.
I don't say you got to take away one of those, the negative 5 yards, because it happened. But if you go back to the replay, they had 12 men on the field, and that was the biggest one. They had 12 men on the field. The refs just didn't call it. I don't know how the refs didn't catch it. But that's the only reason, and that was in overtime, where he would have scored on that play. Hence, if they didn't have 12 men on the field. But I'll let you finish. Go ahead. Continue.
I mean, that's hypothetical. I mean, even if again, he had 2 rushes and in which he had like positive yards, and that one rush was 81 yards. Again, I was going off of the fact of when you normally say when teams play the Bills, they normally go behind playing the Bills, which causes them to have to pass the ball more so they don't run the ball as much. That was not the case with this game. It was not. If you watch the game, which I'm pretty sure you did, the Bills didn't score on the first drive, and the Vikings went up. I'm not going to say that they were running and running and running. However, the Vikings' game plan was to expose those DBs because that is what they were doing. They came out airing the ball out. If they wanted to get Dalvin Cook going, they would have got Dalvin Cook going. Because why wouldn't you give your top whatever running back the ball 20 plus times a game? The game plan was
regular, just fun.
But I mean, if that Russian defense is so terrible, why would you not exploit that? So the weakness in this game versus the Bills versus the Vikings was that passing was the DBs, especially having Justin Jefferson. He had 16 targets. The next receiver had 10 targets. The receiver after that had 11 targets. Among 4 players, they had 44 targets, bro.
That's crazy. Cooper passes. Kupp, that would never be Cooper Kupp.
Bro, he threw the ball 13 times a quarter, bro. That's a lot of passes, bro. And I'm saying that's what the game plan was. You know, I'm not saying that it's hypothetical to say he would or wouldn't have turned up, but I'm just saying based off of what we saw, he had that 81-yard rush, and pretty much that was it. A lot of plays, he was getting tackled. He was, he had little 10 yards here and there, but it was also negated by getting tackled for loss, getting 0-yard gains, getting 1-yard gains. And again, it's hypothetical, but I'm just going off of what we saw, what the stats were.
Yeah, and hold on, wait. I'm just saying before that 81-yard run, he had like 4 carries. So I want to say they were running the ball, and then 2 was negative, and 2 he ran for 10 yards. No, 1 he ran for 10 yards, and 1 he ran for 81 yards. So we just do those 4 carries. That's 90 plus yards in his limited 4 to 5 carries that he got. But I'll let Chubbs go.
Look, I get all that, but from what I've watched, again, this goes to why I'm calling them Pretenders. I know they've got the number, the top defense 7 or 2 at that moment. But if you go look at their games, their first game they opened up with was Bills-Rams. Rams offensively is a what type of team? Passing team. So they're not going to run the ball a lot to begin with. So, okay, them 50 yards, they don't do that. They stopped the Bills. I mean, the Bills stopped the Titans. Derrick Henry held Derrick Henry 25. That was a good game. All right. Follow me. Bills, Dolphins. Dolphins are primarily what team? Passing. So you're not going to get a lot of rushing yards in that game. Then they played the Ravens. Ravens rushed for 162 yards on them. Okay.
The Ravens are
Steelers.
The rushing team, though.
They are. I'm going to get to why I think they're going to end up being pretenders at the very end. Steelers are a balanced team in my eyes. I don't know. Wayne might think they passed.
We don't have an offense. Don't say.
We don't have offense. Yeah, so they stopped it. Chiefs are primarily what? Passing.
Yes.
Right. So you know how that stats end up. Now, this is where it gets crazy. The last 3 weeks. DL. Packers put up 200 yards plus rushing.
Time out. We had an argument saying that was one of the best rushing duos
Correct.
in the league.
I'm getting to what. Let me finish.
I just had to throw that in there.
200 yards. Then they played the Jets. The Jets had what they have 174. Go for it.
The Jets were winning games with only throwing 18 passes a game.
I'm talking. They're running the football. Okay. What Vikings had 160, right? Something like that last night.
Skewed numbers. From the 81-yard rush.
See all them yards right there? So this is what I'm getting at.
176 yards in
this is what I'm getting at.
Last 3 games.
If they run into a team that can run the football and pass on that suspect DBs, they're going to be in trouble come playoff time when they play teams that can do both.
Again, I mean, I would agree, but again, that's kind of hypothetical, bro. Because if you're saying that and again, I made my statement based off of what Wayne normally says. If you go down against the Bills to begin with, which is what most teams do, they're not going to be running the ball as much anyway. And again, you just name all those teams who are literally great running offenses.
That was Wayne's whole point he was trying to make to you the whole time.
And no, he was making that point last week. I was talking about this game as far as Dalvin Cook.
I was talking about Dalvin Cook in particular to the overtime. Because in overtime,
and I agree with you.
He ran all over them. They couldn't do anything with him. So
I agree with you, but my comment behind that was by that time, Justin Jefferson was already balling. So that's what they were focused. Like, you can run the ball all you want if you're going to end up with 3 points. Because a score wins the game. We're trying to stop Justin Jefferson from scoring because that's what he's been doing all game, balling on these DBs. So if you want to run the ball, bro, they stopped them on the 1 yard line. They could get a quarterback sneak. That's rush defenses.
Yeah, come on, bro. Like going into overtime. This is how you knew the Vikings was wilding. Going to overtime, Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook had the same amount of attempts. Like, what are we doing right now? like that was crazy.
Yo, Kirk was running the ball.
Why they didn't give Dalvin Cook the ball more, I don't know. But again,
they were down because you said again they were down 27-10 at halftime. They were down. It went from 7-0 to 17-10, 17-7, right? Real quick.
They were up to begin with. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like my point is like they weren't looking to run the ball, and they were up 7-0, and they scored in 4 plays. And I'm saying that their game plan, that game specifically, this game, was to exploit those DBs, which is what they were doing.
Yeah, and I'm saying they came back in the game really by running the ball because Dalvin Cook ran the ball a couple times, and that's when they were able to make the back offense more balanced.
Other than that 81-yard scamper, bro.
And then overtime, I think it is this dive back in overtime where he had 9 yards per carry in overtime. And my point is, when they play a team like the Jets, for example, they have good DBs that can shut that passing game down or slow it down a little bit enough just to give their offense enough time to run the ball. It's going to be a long day. You're going to keep Josh Allen against
the Bills. Yeah,
you can keep Josh Allen off the field, and they're not going to be able to stop the run. And then you can't just gun in on there because Garrett Wilson can burn you. When they play a team with a good run game and a receiver that can burn them, because like we've been saying all season, the DBs aren't like that. Even though for some reason I don't know why, because they still have 2 all-pro safeties back there.
They still got a first-round cornerback. Like,
I don't know why
they're not playing. Nobody's playing. Nobody's playing from their secondary.
They have both all-pro safety.
No, nobody's playing. They have besides Terrell Edmonds, bro. He's the only starter in the secondary.
Edmonds ain't even on the Bills.
He is.
That's the linebacker.
The linebacker. Okay. Yeah. Who's number 40? Number 47 was getting torn. I'm thinking, yeah, no, he's number 46.
Brentford. He was starting. He been starting all year. So Brentford been starting all year.
Bro, there's a difference between having T. White, Poirier, and Mike.
Bro, but it's
There's
not
a
like
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And when you
I'm sorry,
and y'all don't think that when they have that,
I agree,
bro,
there's
it
a
will help
difference.
in their run
it is a
defense,
difference,
bro.
but it's not
DBs
like
are
they're
run
signing
support,
people
bro.
off practice squad like before a game every other week.
Chris, I get that.
I've seen that happen. That's not the same.
Chris, although they've been playing all year, I understand that. Are you still going to put them in? Are you still not taking into consideration that we're talking about all pros here?
Bro, they still got Teron Johnson out there. He's a vet.
All pros.
He's a vet who's
matter
good.
No matter what you say,
Teron
I'm going to say all
there.
pros, bro. Like, we're talking all pros right now.
All right, let's get to the next. So you guys had Tampa Bay as contenders. I had them as pretenders because I just
as
don't.
a pretender. I don't have a
Oh, yeah, them as pretender. Oh yeah, DL had them as contenders. I haven't pretended. I know Tom Brady's undefeated since being divorced, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. And especially with Leonard Fournette being hurt, even though the running back came in and had a great game, but they didn't even play. They played the Seahawks. So like, I just don't see it. I can see them. I see them go to the playoffs, but I just don't see them winning. And also talk about the Bills. I can see a world where the Bills don't win a playoff game, depending on who their matchup is. And
why you said like the Seahawks were like we wasn't just saying Geno for president last week.
Geno's still for president, but their defense. I mean, they still had a chance to win the game at the end of the day, and I just don't see them winning. But they're winning the close ones, which is why I have Minnesota being one of the teams. A team. Who else did we call pretenders? Why do you guys have the Giants being contenders?
Strictly off of
their division,
and I mean the conference really. They're top three.
Why do you guys say their division when the only undefeated team left?
Dak sucks and Commanders.
Because
we're talking about the Eagles, though. The Eagles are in that division.
If you call the Cowboys a pretenders, which I think we did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Then they'll at least get a wild card game, I think, over the Cowboys. So
I think all three teams are making it to the playoffs from that division.
Mm-hmm.
When I think contenders, I think to me there's somebody that can make it to the NFC Championship. And the only team I can see out of the division make the NFC Championship is the Eagles. I think Dak stinks, which let's just get talking to the Cowboys. DL put in Cooper Rush time. So DL, do you think they should put in Cooper Rush? It's kind of crazy.
Dak Prescott's ridiculously trash.
Dak Prescott has Ryan Clark said his stat today. He has the same completion percentage on third down that Tim Tebow had. And Cooper Rush has a better QBR than him.
Tim Tebow won a playoff game. Don't try Tim Tebow like that.
That got one.
He won a playoff game last year?
Yeah, his rookie year. They beat
yeah.
Or his second year. One of the years they beat somebody.
I don't know what's wrong with that team.
Dak is what's wrong with that team, bro.
I mean, obviously.
I think they're trying to run past the ball too much. What they were having success with was playing good defense, running the ball.
Dak was balling their first year with what's his name? Guy that is the offense coordinator. Played at Bowie State. Yeah, Kellen Moore. He was balling the first year that he had Kellen Moore as that OC.
Well, that's because they were able to
before
run the ball.
He broke his ankle.
Yeah, I mean he was balling, but they were losing.
He was throwing the ball like 50 times, having crazy
because they were down 21 at halftime.
But I'm saying, where's that passing game? You know what I mean?
But I think they're trying to throw the ball too much. I think that's their issue right now. They're trying to throw the ball too much instead of believing in the run game. Tony Pollard and crew, Zeke when he can play in crew, believing in that run game, running the ball 30 times a game, using that up to set up play action. I'm sorry, if people think Dak is a superstar elite talent, I just don't think it. I never thought of what he ever was elite. Like I said last year, he's Kirk Cousins is just on the Cowboys. And that's just how I view him. And they got to run the ball. Same way I think the Vikings don't need to be throwing the ball 50 times a game. I don't think the Cowboys need to be throwing the ball 50 times a game until they figure that out. But you have to throw the ball that many times when you're paying Dak that money, unfortunately. But to me, Dak is just not that good. And he can be a franchise quarterback, but for a team that will never make Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think Dak is not good. And that's just the bottom line. I don't think he's good. I think he's always, he's always been in the conversation because of his surrounding pieces. His defense has been pretty good lately. But when they on the field so much, they didn't score a point in the second half, bro. And that's crazy. When your defense is on the field that much, especially playing Aaron Rodgers.
He threw 2 interceptions in the second half too, right?
He threw 2 picks, 46 pass attempts is outrageous. And then CeeDee Lamb being your number 1 target, obviously is a good target, but you shut him down. Then
question for you, because before the season, which one of y'all had CeeDee Lamb super high up?
No. I talk high on Gallup, and they don't even pass him the ball.
That was you, Dio. You said he was top 10.
I mean, he has ability. He had 150, 11 catches, 150, 2 tutties.
But I'm talking about so far this season, do you still think he's a top 10 receiver?
I don't think he's a top 10 receiver because of Dak.
So you blaming Dak?
I blame it Dak, and obviously, we say Cooper Rush was a better quarterback, but Cooper Rush was also a game manager winning games. You know what I mean? We see what CeeDee Lamb could do when he got the ball in his hands. But Dak is he's just not good, bro. His decision making isn't great. And then when you know who the ball is going to, when you don't throw the ball to nobody else, he had 15 targets. The next player had 9, 6, something like that. 8, which was Dalton Schultz. When your next best player is Dalton Schultz catching the ball, you know what I mean? It's not really a recipe for success. And again, teams are starting to figure that out, especially with the Cowboys. But I don't know. The Cowboys are always been in a conversation because of that division, and I've said that before. Same thing with what I used to say with the Commanders. That division just always up for grabs. That's why there's always a possibility that people gonna give the Cowboys so much praise because anybody come out that division.
Well, it ain't up for grabs no more. So,
well, the Eagles obviously, but who knows? The Commanders might be the Eagles tonight.
So A-Rod finally got back in the win column. So Christian Watson went stupid, had 3 tutties. Looks like there was a second round pick. He was a first round or second round pick?
Second round.
Second round pick, starting to show himself. So do we think the Packers can make a run to find a way to get in the playoffs?
Yeah, I do. We still got a good defense. I think people. I mean, I know the record people talk down because of the record, but still got a pretty good defense. And if Aaron can connect with these receivers can get on the same page like they did this game, then yeah, I think so. They still got that line. They still got them running backs. They can make a wild card for sure.
If we have 3 teams from the NFC East going to the playoffs, there's no way that.
Who's the third team from the NFC East going to playoffs?
You guys got the Giants. You got the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys.
Cowboys not making playoffs.
Whoa, they're not making the playoffs?
No.
Sheesh, that's a bold proclamation.
They're not making playoffs.
I can see that.
I can see them. I can see it, but I don't think it's likely.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I can.
I don't think Micah Parsons is going to let them fall apart like that.
One player, one linebacker is not going to make that big.
Hey, you see, TJ Watt came back and we got a dub. Don't
different.
play.
That is that's different.
Don't play,
that's
man.
Different.
You still got the Vikings.
I don't know. Let me see what the Cowboys got.
If you think so, the Vikings, AFC North is the Vikings winning that. NFC South is the Buccaneers, obviously. NFC East, we got the Eagles. NFC West is probably the Seahawks or the 49ers, right?
Yeah, and I think the 49ers
will be the Seahawks.
Packers.
Yeah. So then you got 2 teams, and there's one more because 7 teams make it. So hold on.
They got the Vikings next.
Yeah.
Tough game. They got the Giants. Tough game. Colts, if Jeff Saturday can get something rolling, who knows? Texans, they should beat. Jaguars, they should beat. Then they got the Eagles, tough game. Titans will be a tough game. And then the end with the Commanders. I mean, It's gonna be tight. Let's just put it that way.
It's gonna be tight for sure. We did kind of talk about the Buffalo versus Minnesota game. So, first question: is Josh Allen MVP over? Is there no way he can get back into this?
I don't think he's winning it. I think 1 and 1A is Patty, and I mean I hate to say it because we got Joey as a co-host / listener / viewer. Tua is up there too in the race, higher than Allen right now. I'll be honest, based off stats and I guess wins right now. And no one was was expecting this like this. That's another reason why I think he'll get them votes.
I don't think he'll win, but I don't think that it's just like it ain't no way he could win. The loss definitely don't help. But I think this definitely opens up the conversation for if Jalen Hurts can go undefeated or at least only lose 3 games, bro, he might end up winning MVP. I think now it's between
Forgot about him.
Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes with Tua coming up in the rankings. Depending on what Josh Allen does for the rest of the season, because if we look at his losses, he still played, in my opinion, I might not agree, he still played pretty decent. Just at times he didn't make, he folded at times. But again, he lost to the Vikings 7-1, 8-1. He lost to a Dolphins team, lost to Ravens. These are good teams.
He lost to the Jets, Dolphins, and Vikings.
The Jets, Dolphins, and the Ravens, right?
Dating back to last year.
The Bills beat us.
Who's the Jets, Dolphins, and Vikings. Okay.
So
it was a close game.
And dating back to last year, Josh Allen has actually thrown the most interceptions in the league. I think he's thrown like 11 interceptions in the red zone. So that's something I'm a little worried about. But this MVP run is cooked. It's over with. One, I mean, he plays the Browns. That should be a dub. Lions, he could probably get his stats up versus them. Patriots, I don't think he's going to get a lot of stats versus them. Jets, not going to get a lot of stats versus them. Dolphins, not going to get a lot of stats versus them. He might lose the Jets in the Dolphins game. Bears, he could probably get stats up versus them. Let's see what the Bengals look like by January. And then they end the season off at New England as well. So, he only has really, in my mind, 3 to 4 games possibly where he can really get his stats up and do something crazy. But he also has potentially 2 more games he can lose. 2. So, and I don't think they're going to run the table on the rest of these. I think they're probably going to lose to either the Jets or the Dolphins. Going to lose to one of those teams. So, probably not the Dolphins because it's going to be too cold for the Dolphins players. Into a place bad in bad weather, but they'll probably lose to the Jets again. I can see them losing to the Jets again. So I do think this MVP run is cooked. But the next question is, did Jay Jettis have the best catch of all time? And is he the best receiver in the NFL? DL said he already has him top 3. I had him going into the season as the best receiver in the league. He's number 2 for me right now. Just because I can't discredit anything that Tyreek Hill is doing. So I have to keep Tyreek at number 1, but Jettis is right there behind him. So
he's been in my top 3, so
he's moved up. I had him top 5. He's moved up, definitely. If we're going off numbers, then you have to say he's top 2. But the eye test alone and all the, honestly, the fact that he's doing it from the outside too makes a difference for me.
That's a crazy majority of his catches yesterday were from the outside.
Yeah, and I can respect that. You know what I mean? He's a good route runner. He's fast. I'm not honestly. If D-Hop was playing the whole season, D-Hop would probably still be one of the top receivers in the league.
Did y'all see that clip with D-Hop and Kyler Murray?
Yeah, what you seeing, one?
What you looking at?
Yeah. But no, I can tip my hat off to him. Was that the best catch ever? No. OBJ's catch was way better than not way better, but that was a better grab. And we're gonna get into it in a clip segment too. I put 4 catches in there.
I disagree though. Those. I think that OBJ had the better play with the catch, but that was a better catch. If you go back and watch the replay, I know you did, the defender had the ball like in between his 2 hands. Interception. And this man went back and put his hand up in between and just came down with it on a 4th and 18 to keep your team in the game.
It's easier to pull a ball down than to pull it up.
Bro, that was Wayne.
I think that depending the circumstances, when you put the context in it, you make Justin Jefferson catch the better catch. But OBJ catch was still ridiculous, and it was a touchdown.
And he got better play, and he caught it with 3 fingers.
And that was his first game.
Bro, this dude was a contested catch, 2 guys.
That catch was crazy.
DB had the ball in his hand.
Both catches was crazy. I mean, we're just picking.
I was mad because
you're not gonna come up with it, bro. Just smack it down at least on the way down,
I'm benching him if I'm like, bro, like you're not playing another down. But that was the play of the game, bro. Like that was really the play of the game, bro. That's why they lost that game. Like that right there, either that or the Singletary fumble earlier on. But I mean,
that was lost the game because Josh Allen don't know how to do a goddamn QB sneak.
Bruh, that was a center.
Or they probably don't want him getting hit with that elbow.
What you mean? He was out here running people over, yo.
Yeah, that was somebody.
I saw a tweet that does like, yo, don't ever compare Taysom Hill to Patrick Mahomes again. They was calling Josh Allen a white running back, calling him Christian McCaffrey, Peyton Ellis. That's like, yo,
what's crazy is he still threw for 300 yards.
He did. Yeah. That's why I don't keep that injury stuff. Once I saw him trying to run somebody, Eric Kendricks over, I was like, yeah, I don't hear nothing about no injury, bro. I don't hear nothing about it. You trying to run the linebacker over, all pro linebacker at that.
Yeah, like 6'5", though, bro.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you try to run over? You're not going down.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next topic, man. So despite besides having an amazing day, and he's going crazy these last weeks, Justin Fields did lose. He had over 100 yards rushing, over 100 yards passing. I think he had 176 yards rushing on the ground.
He had 2 touchdowns on the ground, 2 touchdowns in the air.
In the air. Historic day. So the question Charles poses is, if you had to pick today, Lawrence or Fields to lead your team, who are you picking?
Go, Wayne.
I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence guy, right? But I make a lot of excuses for what Trevor Lawrence has had because of the situations. I felt like he's definitely been played against, like he's had a downfall. And Justin Fields did have Matt Nagy. And it's kind of crazy to think that Matt Nagy would have been better than Urban freaking Meyer, right? But what Justin Fields is doing right now is historical. Generational. But I'm still going with Trevor Lawrence, man. If I had to start a team, man, if I can build a team properly around Trevor Lawrence, I think you're looking at, Herbert. But Justin Fields to me is definitely it's a tough one. It's not an easy decision, but as of right now, I still think I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. I could just see what he can be. And I can see what Justin Fields can be.
Last year's Herbert or this year's Herbert?
I said Herbert. I meant Lawrence. Oh, you saying who I think Lawrence can be last year's Herbert or this year's Herbert?
Yeah.
If you give him the weapons that Herbert had, and
what have they been doing? They've been trying to surround weapons around him.
Who? Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Bro, if you telling me Christian Kirk, bro,
get out of here. Come on, man.
Get out of here, bro. Christian Kirk or Mooney?
Hey, one broke, the wide receiver salary. I don't know, man.
Christian Kirk or Mooney?
I'm going Mooney.
All right, then. So, no.
Hey, don't sleep on Christian Kirk, though.
Yeah, I got him in fantasy. He's doing good.
So Darnell Mooney's not. So maybe I have to rephrase that.
Darnell Mooney better than him. God damn it. Smooth. Who you going with?
The obvious answer is Justin Fields, bro. I don't know why
The obvious
It is
answer?
obvious.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
the obvious
obvious.
answer, bro.
Yeah, we're being blinded.
Blind about what? The Bears suck. The Bears suck and he's balling.
But like, never mind. It's not even an impressive win no more because the Chargers stink.
Dude, you talking about a dual threat quarterback, bro.
Trevor Lawrence can
also
run,
go
bro.
Bro, if all things are even, I'm taking
definition,
Justin
everybody can
Fields.
run,
What? If the whole team around both Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields is even, it's not a hard debate. Like,
it's not at all.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that in college, so I'm not hearing that, bro.
Justin Fields is nice at all. He was nice.
Man, he's
Andy
better
Morgan
than
was
Trevor
nice,
Lawrence. And he's still not better than Trevor Lawrence. As of right now. Keep it up, though. We'll see. We just
Like
talking about
saying-
Justin Fields stink. It's crazy. It's crazy how I feel because in the beginning of the year, we was talking about Justin Fields stinking his ass, and we were praising Trevor Lawrence, and then now it's flipped.
Ben said that Justin Fields is probably the best quarterback out of that class from last year, from what happened last year, their play. So I did say that a couple weeks ago.
No, I had a lot of faith in Trevor.
Said that on the pod. So
Don't lose your faith, Theo. Don't lose your faith.
We try to blame Nick Saban. I will say excuse.
hey, don't sleep on the 6-3 Zach Wilson led Jets.
He is Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what he is.
Those 18 passes a game.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. The next, hold up. I both said that. All right. So Jeff Saturday gets a win with the Colts. Did he prove the doubters wrong? And let's talk about how terrible the Raiders are and Derek Carr crying at the end of the game.
I'm happy for Jeff Saturday, but I don't. It's not gonna last. I'm glad you got your first win on the first game. It's just not gonna last though.
So what the hell was the difference between Jeff Saturday and Frank Wright, who was a good coach that the team failed him, and all of a sudden now Jonathan Taylor can run the ball?
That's what I'm saying. It don't make any sense.
It
doesn't make any sense.
You don't implement an entire new offense. I'll tell you that right now. Like, you don't implement an entire new offense in a week. So what were they doing? Was Frank Wright trying to be too complicated and they just simpled it down? So I don't know. It's very weird. But it also is the Raiders. So he still shouldn't have gotten a head coaching job. This doesn't prove anything to me.
I mean, cool, the guys like you. But I don't know. It's not gonna last.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for him. I just don't think maybe we'll see some more with the productivity next year. If he remains head coach, if he actually finishes with a somewhat of a winning record while he's the coach right now. But I just think it's an opportunity for him to get his feet wet. Start rebuilding for next year. I don't think he's gonna do too much this year. A win here and there, but that's what you expect coming into an organization that's already on the verge of its downfall this year. So kudos to him. But I think moving forward this year, they're pretty much preparing for next year because they ain't about to do nothing. But I think he could be the coach. Moving forward.
So I want to talk more about the Raiders because they just disappoint me, man. I had them finish second in this division. And I think as a general, this division has been terrible besides the Chiefs. And I always thought the Chiefs were going to be the best team in the division. They're just proving that. But last week the Raiders gave up, I think when they were up 20-0 against the Jaguars. Shout out Trevor Lawrence. Put some respect on his name. Justin Fields never did that. Come back and win. And then they lose to a Colts team that is pretty bad. New head coach. So should they give up on Derek Carr is the first question. And should they tank? And should Devontae regret his decisions?
Well, like you see my comment on the doc. Lock him up, throw away the key. Don't let Derek Carr out ever again. Unless you want to tank. Because I know that on paper, like he always that people give him the top 10 or top right outside the
I
top
think it was
10
just last
before the
year.
year.
Just last year. Just
Yeah.
last year. Just last year.
But
Well, I
like,
say, don't say people. Let's say this guy right here. Say he was a
Hold
top
up.
10
I was
quarterback.
bigging up Derek Carr last year.
Bro, you said Derek Carr was a top 10 quarterback, bro.
Coming into the season, he was. And he was supposed to be. When you get a weapon like Devontae Adams, you're supposed to prove that you're a top 10 quarterback.
I just don't get it. I think Derek Carr's time is over. Really do think so. You should probably try to tank, even though I think you won too many games already. You're not going to beat out the Texans or somebody else for the top 2 picks. But you really could use a top 2 pick right now because it looks like Devontae's about to fight the offensive coordinator or Derek Carr the way he talks after every single loss. You know what I mean? He hates it. Devontae literally looks like he hates it in Las Vegas. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's his fault because he had a very good situation. I know he didn't know what Aaron was going to do, but they were willing to pay you and give you at least 1, maybe 2 more years with one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. And you said, no, I'm going to go put my college quarterback who hasn't really accomplished anything in his career.
Welcome.
So at the end of the day, Devontae, I don't feel sorry for you. I really don't.
Damn.
I really don't. I'm sorry. You did it to yourself. And you gotta thug it out the rest of the year. Stop being so goddamn salty on interviews. The people interviewing didn't do nothing to you. Like come on, man. You're doing their job. But other than that, what was the other question? Should they tank? 100% should tank. Even though that's gonna piss a bunch of people off. Because look, Devontae Adams is the only thing they got right now. Waller's on IR, Renfro went on IR, and they got the ball for Josh Jacobs. Not really hard to stop that. So, and their offensive line still sucks. So,
yeah. Derek Carr has afforded way too many opportunities to be in NFL and continuously be mid. It's time for him to no longer at least be the quarterback for the Raiders. Maybe he can go somewhere else and be the quarterback, but it is time for him either to be a backup or go somewhere else. It is time to move on in this Derek Carr chapter, which may pissed off Devontae Adams. And I also think this continues to prove why McDaniel is not a good coach. If it's not in New England, he's not a good coach. He's not good.
He's not a good head coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's a good I got to see him be offensive coordinator somewhere else. He's good in New England. I'll just say that just because it's New England. And this is just time for them. Sounds crazy to say to blow it up because they just got all these people to come in and make a huge difference. But Chandler Jones has been disappointing, and Derek Carr has been disappointing. This offense has been disappointing. This offensive line has been, even though they were bad last year, they continue to be bad. Even though they can run the ball, they can't really pass block as well. And Derek Carr, like I said, just been afforded too many opportunities to do this. And it's kind of crazy that no one's winning the divorce of Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers because they're both miserable.
I'm glad you said something, and this is the problem with the NFL is they're giving Derek Carr so many chances, and let's just keep it a B. If he was an African American, if he'd had 2 bad seasons, that he would have been out already.
I was asking if Lamar deserved his money.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't get it. Like, it's NFL is so one sided. They give I'm sorry, white quarterbacks so many goddamn chances to be fucking ass. Sorry, excuse my language, but and then like these guys that have potential, they have good games. Like PJ Walker could be out the league in a couple years, even though he balls. You know what I mean? Cam Newton probably better than some quarterbacks right now that are playing. He ain't getting another chance.
He said, I'm back and never came back.
So, I don't know. You go, DL. My bad.
Nah, I mean, I made a good point. That was a good point. There's a lot of mediocre quarterbacks in the league. Derek Carr being one of them who keep on getting opportunity after opportunity. I think more so this year, though, it is more so on Josh McDaniel. on top among other things. Having Darren Waller out, not having the tight end, that kind of plays a big role, especially from what was happening last year. And being a big target for them. When you have Devontae Adams and he's your only receiver on the field, that kind of makes it harder to, get him the ball, especially when you got Josh McDaniels being a new coach. So I would say a 60-40 Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr. But at the same time, Derek Carr's a veteran. He's had good seasons. He's done, more with less. So I would say I wouldn't necessarily say blow it up because you got all these guys who do come back. I would say you need to make your offensive line better, definitely. But I don't think his time's done. If you want to be fair, maybe his time's done from the point that you made of not having to give him another chance because they don't give the next person, African Americans, the same chance, the same opportunities. You got people like Carson Wentz, Derek Carr. Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, who's still in the league, continue to be mid.
Baker Mayfield.
Still have opportunities. So, I can.
Well, Baker's a backup now, rightfully so.
Well, Baker's starting versus the Ravens.
Interested.
But, I don't know. I think he gets one more year, a full season with a full offense. And then from there, we'll see what happens next. But definitely, I would say definitely after next year, if he doesn't do anything with what he has, we can label him as washed.
But DL, wouldn't you think that's this year? Because he had 4,000 yards with the offense he had prior, and they added Devontae Adams to that, and you're doing worse. Wouldn't that be this year?
I guess I say I think it's 60-40 Josh McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? Like, Josh McDaniels isn't a good – I don't think he's a good head coach.
I agree. And I do agree with you, Dio. Maybe after next year, you have to get one more year because they're going to let everybody that get hurt. Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, like a lot of pieces that get hurt. So they didn't really get to see their offense in the full swing of things. So,
yeah.
All right. Next question we have, the final segment of the day. Which rookie offensive, you were trying to say player?
Yeah, which rookie player, whatever.
Which rookie player, offense or defense, have impressed you the most so far this season?
Offensively, Damian Pierce from the Texans. And defensively, I'm not going to say Sauce because I knew Sauce was going to be good, so that wouldn't be like a surprise or impress because I already knew. Tariq Woolen surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting that guy to be that good, being of a fourth, fifth round pick, something like that. And he's 6'3", 6'4", runs a 4.3, and he straps. So those are my two.
I'm gonna go. My one is, even though I knew he was gonna be good, I'm telling you right now, he's gonna be a top 10 receiver very soon in this game. And that's I'm gonna name two people. We made fun of him getting drafted on draft night, thought it was a super reach, Chris Olave. I did not think he was gonna be this good. And then Garrett Wilson Jr. is gonna be fantastic in this league. He's gonna be crazy. So, and then defensively, I agree. It has to be Tariq Woolen. Wow. I did not know he was going to be this good. So.
I gotta go with the, obvious one, Sauce. Especially me being a what I'm saying, defensive guy. It's not surprising, but, I am kind of, happy with what he's doing. We had the conversation last week if he was the top corner in the league, and that's crazy because there's so many corners not so many, but there are a lot of corners in the league who, Shadow and Vander coming as a rookie, be able to do what he's doing. Obviously he got the length for pause. And he's playing with the Jets, which kind of makes it crazy. He's actually a big factor as to why, in my opinion, why the Jets are playing so well. When you got somebody who can, shadow or lock down one side of the field, take away your offensive threat. That's a big factor. And I'm gonna stick with the Jets before he got hurt. I want to say Brees Hall because Brees Hall was balling, bro. Brees Hall was balling. So
like we said, draft night, we said the Jets had one of the best drafts and continue to pull it. They did it back-to-back years. So have you see it come to fruition. But all right, man, let's get into our Keep It Short segment. This is where we do our YouTube shorts and our TikTok videos, man. If you had to choose one right now, which would it be? Putting African Americans against each other. Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts.
I'm gonna go with LJ. I gotta go LJ. That's my guy.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson simply off the MVP, but I do think it's Lamar Fields then Hurts.
I think it's Lamar Hurts than Fields.
All right. If you had to choose one, Sauce, Woolen, or Surtain?
We're going with Surtain.
I'm going Woolen, man. 6'3", runs a 4.3. Think he has a chance to be a fantastic corner in this league, and he does shadow. So he does shadow all the time, but he's willing to fall around. I saw him catch a pick on a dig route. If you know how hard that is very hard to do. And he was beaten, and he was able to track him down. So I think Woolen's there, Surtain, and then Sauce for me.
I gotta stick with Sauce. He's a rookie. I know Woolen's, Surtain, he's definitely stepped up. Has been playing well.
He's like
and
that
progressing.
last year, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying in progressing. He's gotten better every year, but Sauce came into the league and immediately made an impact. So, I give him that. And now it's only like a downfall from here. You can only, you know what I mean? Like you can, if you don't play as well, then we can hold you to a standard now. So I think he's gonna be able to maintain this level of play, from his rookie year.
All right, and then we're going to the rookie receivers: Olave, London, Wilson.
Garrett Wilson for me.
Yeah, it's Garrett Wilson for me too. Let's go Garrett. London's last for me.
Yeah, I'll say switch it Olave and Wilson. Olave first.
And now let's get to we have the best catch of all time. David Tyree's catch in the Super Bowl, Odell Beckham's catch versus the Cowboys, Julian Edelman's foot grab, or Justin Jefferson's 4th and 18 grab. Which one do you guys have? I want you guys to put them in order.
Damn. I'm gonna go. Damn, this is hard. David Tyree 1, Justin Jefferson 2, Odell 3, Edelman 4.
I'm going with Tyree, Edelman. They were in the Super Bowl, so to me, those two just have to be 1 and 2. Odell, J Jets.
Y'all know which one I'm going first.
There's no way you're putting Julian Edelman first.
But and that's not even biased, bro. Like if you saw
that's
he
biased.
Caught that, if you saw he caught the ball, he caught it, dropped it, and caught it again before it hit the ground, bro. That was crazy.
He had assistance with a foot. Actually, I'm putting Julian Edelman shit last. Now that I think about it, bro.
Here you go, bro.
Because he had the assistance with the foot, bro. He had the assistance with the foot.
That's concentration, bro. That's concentration. But surprisingly, I would probably put David Tyree's catch last. Honestly. The only reason why it would be up there is because it was in the Super Bowl.
He caught the ball on his head.
He caught the ball. He used his helmet to pin it down. So I mean, that's extra security right there. Like he caught it above. You know what I'm saying? Ronnie Harrison just
was dragging him, holding him.
He's super mid for that one. But I'm out to go Julian Edelman, Odell, J Jet, and then David Tyree. But they all up there. They all up there.
I agree. They're all up there, man. Yeah, man. That's the end of this episode, man. We appreciate everybody that came through. We're gonna be doing NBA on Friday, so we might hit you guys with a live before the end of the year, or we go live on YouTube. So you definitely guys will check that out. We'll announce that when we go live. working on getting a special guest for us. She's a writer at The Athletic. So just waiting to see when she can just hop on. So hopefully get her to come on soon, but I'll definitely keep, the guys and the fans up to date when she will be on this episode, man. But till next time, man, my name is Wayne. Smoog and Chubbs, you got anything I want to say to people before we get out of here?
Ravens, fuck, let's fly.
2 things. Don't count us out, Patriots Nation. We're still in the conversation. 1 game back from everybody in our division. And topic of discussion for Friday's podcast. John Wall is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I mean, bro. That's not really hard to say. Oh my god. Am I stopping it? Okay, I'm stop.
No, stop. I got something to say. Same way he say Broncos, Patriots Nation, don't count them out. TJ Watt is back.
Oh my god.
We have 8 games left.
What's your record?
3-6.
Oh, 8.
8-game winning streak.
No.
11-6. That'll be crazy. 11-6 is not happening.
That's not happening.
Listening right now, do not count us out. We still got to play the Ravens twice. We still got to play the Browns and Bengals. We can win those games. That's right there, 4 games. That puts us at 7-6. Let me just go through our schedule. I think our schedule is very winnable, if you ask me.
That goes 7-9, bro. First losing season.
So we play the Bengals on Sunday. We can win that game. It's in Pittsburgh. Play the Colts. We're not losing to Jeff Saturday. Play the Falcons. We can beat the Ravens. We can beat the Panthers. We can beat the Raiders. We can beat the Ravens. And we can beat the Browns.
Hypothetically, I could beat everyone, bro.
But no, if we're being realistic, our schedule is very favorable. We can beat the team that, to me, that we really only got to worry about, in my opinion, is Ravens.
Yep.
And we can split that and be 10-7 at the end of the season.
At first, I was agreeing with you with a split, but Roquan joined the team, man. You ain't winning the game against us. You're not winning.
TJ Watt's back. That's what we're going off of.
Not that the Steelers have no type of offense whatsoever.
Hey, defense wins championships.
Gotta get there first.
Steelers Nation, don't count us out. There is a chance. We just need Big Ben to show up to every game and office to score 20 points. And now, that's when I play. Steelers Nation, let's ride.
Just said steel curtain, let's ride.